in this week's tutorial, what we're looking at is a slightly different technique, and we're looking at what I've called the chain pull technique. And what this is basically using the little chain, which is lots of balls basically strung together, to pull through the soap and see whether we can get a design from it. Now, this is based a little bit upon the acrylic technique, where you layer paint on these little beads and you pull them across a canvas, and it creates a kind of floral, flowery looking scraping across the canvas. So I wondered whether this would be doable and usable as a technique for soap, but rather than putting it across the top of the soap, we're pulling it up and out of the soap. So this is my first attempt at it, and you're coming along with me. It may work, it may not, but we'll work it together, and we maybe have some ideas to see whether we can progress this into other ways, or maybe it's just a matter of getting a different trace on the soap. So what I've got here is my standard kind of soap recipe. I brought it up to a relatively medium trace, and I'm going to try not to flick it everywhere, but I've failed quite miserably in that one. So let's just tidy that one up here. Excuse the head in the way. And what we're going to do is just pour some of this off. So I've got a very small amount of green liquid dye in this little pot here, and I'm just going to fill that one up with some soap, and this is going to be my bottom layer. I'm going to lay that in the bottom so it covers all of those little beads on that chain, and then I'm going to colour the main batch of soap a different colour. I'm going to see whether I can pull that base green colour up through, I think, a kind of coral or an orange colour, and see whether we get a nice kind of streaking through the soap that way. So I've got some liquid dye here. These liquid dyes are from, I believe it's Randall's Candles, and they are excellent in cold process soap. Now, the colour you see there is relatively muted, but they do come out a lot stronger than it looks. So into the main batter here, I've put some coral colour, and it does look a little bit of an odd orange colour, but it comes through into a really nice kind of corally, pinky orange colour. It's beautiful, but you do need to let it go through saponification first before you get that beautiful colour. So we get this all mixed in here, and then what I'm going to do is just pour this first lot of colour over the chains that are laying in the bottom of my mould here. And all I've done is I've given them a pattern which is backwards and forwards in the mould, but I guess you could do it side to side. And I'm just going to pour this first little batch of soap over the top. Now, this batter is quite fluid, and it may be that we need to just let things set up a little bit and pull it through when it's a little bit of a thicker trace. But this is an experiment, so we're going to kind of go with the first trace I get to before we then start waiting for it. So you can see there my huge roll of chain, and what we're just going to do is layer this one on the top very gently. So you do need to be able to kind of layer your soap up, so you're getting a little bit of a 2 layers going on. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is place this spatula into the mould, and I'm going to pour down the spatula so that it's basically just going to kind of flow very slowly down and on top of that first layer, and then slowly come across that first layer to fill up. You can see there I'm just being very careful and very gentle, allowing it just to kind of spill down the spatula so we're not breaking into that top layer. I'm also resting it against the edge of the mould, so it's kind of hitting the edge and then moving quite slowly down onto the top there. And we're going to do the same on the other side, just breaking the fall so it doesn't break through too much. And once we get to this kind of stage here, we're just going to get the rest of this colour all in. So we've got green on the bottom and this kind of coral colour on the top. And then let's just get this final little bit on this side, again using the spatula to break that fall. Nearly there. Go nice and slowly. We don't need to kind of rush this bit. It's not a big race at this moment in time. So there we have that last little bit. We'll pour this last bit just into this edge here, so we've got it all into our mould. And now for the fun bit. All I'm going to do is pull this up so it's coming straight up out of the mould rather than pulling it in one fluid motion. You can see how I'm kind of allowing that to come up through the soap Hopefully you can see that through my hands. And we pull that all out, we'll get that washed off, give this a wipe down, and we'll see you back in a very short while for the cut. So we're back for the cut, and as you'll see just here very shortly that the kind of pale pinky and pale green have really turned in some quite stunning kind of coral and green colours. So we're going to pop this into here and get it cut and see what kind of pattern, if anything, we've got going through this soap. So let's take our first little slice off here. Hide that one, and then we'll take our first proper cut. Now let's just move that out of the way so we can get the wire up. And now we'll take a first proper cut. So we've got some striations coming up through the soap, and you can obviously see where the trace was quite light and it's pushed that green colour down and out of the way. But I'm not unhappy with it, but I think it needs a little bit of work and it needs a little bit of additional thought. So if I'm going to do this again, and I may well do this again, I think I'm going to leave the batter to set up until it's a little bit thicker. We're getting some really nice kind of pull up through the soap there, and I kind of quite like that. So it's very repeatable. But I think, again, if we're going to do this, we're going to wait for the batter to thicken up a little bit. And I think what we're going to do is add a little bit more chain into the bottom of the mould, and maybe go for maybe two layers above, so it'll be 3 layers in total, and see what sort of shape we go with that one. But if you'd like to see me give this another go and see whether we get a different result by using thicker batter or more layers, let me know in the comments below, and we'll certainly give that a go for you. Now, this very much was an experimentation, and it's a little bit of a kind of departure away from doing well-known techniques and looking at maybe developing a few additional ones. So if this has been something that you've enjoyed, there's going to be a few of these appearing over the next few weeks, just because we're trying a few different bits and pieces out and seeing if we can come up with some new ideas for some different soap techniques. And there we have the soap in all of its glory. And as you can see here, that coral colour has really come through in saponification, as has that green colour. And I've kind of grown to like it, but I still think we've got some work on it that we can really make this pop. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me grow and allows me to make more videos and tutorials for all of you. When you subscribe, don't forget to click the bell icon if you'd like to get notified when a new video is uploaded. And thanks a lot, Soapsters. I'll see you again next time.